It's a beautiful evening. Good evening and welcome to Atlantic Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Ekpo Temple. On today's edition of the show, world number one, Aryna Sabalenka has been voted the WTA Player of the Year after securing 4 titles in 2024. The big question is, does she deserve it? The best 11 footballers of this year have been revealed, featuring 4 players from Manchester City, with votes casted by 28,000 professional footballers across 70 countries. Do you think they got it right from the men's team? We also have Mr. Braz live with us in the studios, and we shall talk about the UEFA Champions League and the concert for the Love of Music show coming up this weekend. It promises to be a beautiful time, music and sports, what a blend we're going to have here on today's edition of this show. Don't go anywhere, of course, we'll be back right after now. Alright, welcome back from that break. I told you earlier that this is a special edition of Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network, and that's because we have Mr. Braz in the studio. Fortunately, he is in the studio with us, and he will talk more of the For the Love of Music show. Fortune, good evening and welcome to Atlantic Television Network.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
We also have Miracle Nyekaze. Miracle is an in-house pundit, and of course, so glad to have you, Miracle, this evening.
Yeah, good evening, Port Harcourt. It's always nice to be here.
Quickly, let's start with the with tennis, where world number one, Aryna Sabalenka, has been voted the WTA Player of the Year. Miracle, does this come to you as a surprise on, that she won this particular one, looking at the effort of all the players in the WTA this year?
For me, I think it's no surprise that she's been crowned the WTA Player of the Year. I think for me, she's been quite impressive in the last couple of months over there playing tennis, both in the Grand Slams and the Opens as well. I think she's been very, very fantastic when it comes to showing tenacity and consistency for the last couple of months. And we know how 2024 has been so far for her. I think she's wrapped up the year on a high note, winning the Wuhan Open as well over there in China. I think she's been quite fantastic among her peers. She's been very, very, very competitive. She's been very, very, very determined, and she's shown us how fantastic she can be. And there's a lot still to come from her. I think she wrapped up the year with 2 Grand Slams, defending her Australian Open and winning the US Open as well. I think winning 2 Cincinnati Open and the Wuhan Open, I think for me is a very, very good one for her. I think she merited everything she's gotten this year. I still tip her to do good works next year.
And of course, to know that she even came from, she dethroned Iga Swiatek in October. One begin to wonder why this vote, should come this way. Because she also won the WTA finals. Okay, so maybe that gave her an edge into. Okay, nothing. She didn't win that one. We saw it was Coco Golf that won that particular one. So one would have been wondering. Is it justifiable? Because once a player stays as world number 1 for 9 months and she's dethroned, could it just be because she won these titles, or the fact that she was just able to dethrone Iga Swiatek? I'm just looking of what the reason that could have prompted her to have won, because Iga Swiatek was also very fantastic in the year. We saw other ladies that also did so well. But maybe because of the 4 titles she won, just maybe could have kept her apart from others.
Yes, definitely. She just had that edge over her peers and winning 4 titles to wrap up this year. And let's not forget that Iga Swiatek has had a lot of conspiracy around her titles in the last couple of months, because she was actually flagged for doping, and as a result of taking in inappropriate drugs that she was not meant to take, and it actually, will I say, put a dent on her name in this last couple of weeks. And for me, I think Iga Swiatek has done well for herself as well. But if I was to choose personally, I think Aryna Sabalenka, the Belarusian, actually outclassed the rest of the female WTA players right there.
The rest of the female WTA players, and of course, it is the first time Sabalenka has been named Player of the Year, and she replaced Swiatek, who got that particular one, in 2022 and 2023. And of course, the winner were voted for by international tennis media. And of course, let's come back home where we'll talk about some football actions. Yesterday, we saw Bender Insurance of Benin. They took a step towards a fight from relegation and survival, and the Nigerian Premier Football League going away to the Gospel Akpabio Stadium, the nest of champion in Uyo, and picking that maximum point. And that game looks like a icing on the cake, and a lot of transfer. But first off, your thought on that particular game? 1-1, it ended in favor of the Benin Arsenals.
For me, I think it's a good one. It's a good one for Bender Insurance. We know that they've not been quite good this season. They've been very, very, very disappointing, actually, especially when they go away from home. And then we saw how the result turned out yesterday. They went away from home at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium to have a 1-1 draw with Akwa United, who have been also struggling. And as a result of that game, we heard that the coach of the Akwa United side has actually resigned, Baba Ganaru, and he has actually resigned from his role as the Akwa United head coach. This Bender Insurance team, I think they've been going down.
They also do not have a coach, a substantive coach as it stands now.
They've been going down the drain as well, and they've been quite. They've been looking for a head coach as well. We know that a couple of seasons past ago, Bender Insurance qualified for the CAF Confederations Cup 2 seasons ago. They were very, very good, playing down there in Lagos in the Super 6, and with the likes of their top striker, their top man, actually leading the goal scoring chart as well. But ever since then, this Bender Insurance side, they've not really lived up to the expectation for their fans as well as their team. I feel like they still have a lot to come, but going away from home to take a point at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium, for me, I think it's a step in the right direction. A step
in the right direction, and of course, I will hope that some of the happenings. But before we leave the shores of Nigeria, let's talk about Finidi George. He is attributed that loss to Rangers International as a result of poor defensive, capabilities. And one will be asking, you own your defense, you know the players to feature. When coaches come out to say that they have poor defense, I'm just wondering why he should be blaming his defense. Maybe just to do more work on the defense, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But for me, for him to come out to, well, let's say, make such statement, huge statement and big statement, blaming his defenders, that means he saw a lot of loopholes in his defense, and maybe that's.
But the game ended just 1-0. So that arguably, goals must come. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe he was very determined to stay compact in that encounter.
Yeah.
But somehow they were able to still get that particular one.
Yeah, maybe for him going into that one, he was just aiming to go there and maybe grab a point at the Cathedral right there playing against Enugu Rangers. But unfortunately for him, it wasn't meant to be. The Rivers United side went there and they lost to a better team on the day, Enugu Rangers. And let's not forget that goal came in early. I think on the 13th minute in that particular one, and the Enugu Rangers side were unable to add another one, and Rivers United also were unable to equalize that particular goal. But for me, I think is not. They should just go back to the drawing board and find a way to solve their defensive issues. They are still in the title race, up there, still ranked second, the same point with Bender Insurance. Sorry, with Remo Stars. Right there, I think they're still in the title race. They still have a lot to come, and coming back at home to play in the Adokia Mesemaka Stadium, I think they'll be looking forward to having a good result in their next game.
Having a good result in the next game, but like you mentioned earlier, that we'll have Mr. Brass live with us, and of course we'll talk about For the Love of Music concert coming up on the 15th of this month. Mr. Brass, welcome to our studio. First of all, let's start with what's the joy around becoming a musician? We're talking, I mean, a lot of us are thinking about want to become footballers, want to become good tennis stars, want to become a lot in the sporting, but sports generate the GDP of some nations, like for example in English Premier League. So what could have prompted you to go into music?
Okay, well, music is inherent in us. As an Adventist, we grew up with music in our house, in church, teach us music and choir and all of that. So I've loved music from when I was little, and I started playing the trumpet. I think I was 210, around 210. I started with the trumpet, and then trombone, phonium, and all of that.
And of course, so at what point did you now come up to believe that okay, you want to start building a brand with it, and getting even sports lovers part of the program, get into your talent, become part of what you are building. Even if it's not sports, so to say, but it looks like it's something that you want to generate. So, like if in Nigeria, a lot of people feel that okay, they have talent for football, they have talent for tennis. Some are yearning to be, different things, athletics. Some want to be the best athletes, and then I'm just thinking the point at which you now decipher, okay, let me leave music and let me focus on music as a brand instead of looking at what we call hobby, playing football and doing other things. I'm just wondering, what that means. But why I will get to bring him back on that particular one. We hope that he can also talk about more. But okay, Braz, first of all, let's take that particular one. So what do you think is that thing that propelled you to say, okay, I don't want to delve into sports, I just want to remain in music? You foresaw the future, or just tell us?
Okay, well, there's one thing when you're doing something that you have genuine passion for. The drive is top notch. It's on another level. So I always loved music, like I said earlier. I've always loved music when I was little. So when I developed this talent, and I saw that I was actually good in this thing, I thought of ways to harness the talent, and then I thought about For the Love of Music. And around 2019, the idea came. And initially we were doing music for just peanuts, and then I thought of how long am I going to be continuing in this game. So I saw the need to harness my talent, develop it, and make it sellable. And that's why the For Love of Music came about.
Miracle. As compared to sporting talents, what do you think are the enabling factor that some persons look at the dreamers? Okay, I want to become this in the area of athletics, footballer, what are the potentials, especially in Nigeria? Because I'm going to come to him. How's it been for him? But how is it for you to say, okay, I want to become a talent, and then you go all out for it, and you become a footballer, you play. Some people that dream is to play for Nigerian Premier Football League, play with one of the teams. Some people, like Emotion now, I'm sure when she started, she was not even thinking in that direction. So how is it, is that drive to achieving that which you so long for in sports?
For me, I don't think it's that easy, because we've seen how athletes in the past say that they were actually pushed, and they were actually they had that determination for them to become who they are today. And for me, I think there's always a drive. If you have that drive and you have that passion for the sport, or passion for what you want to become, like Mr. Brass here, he's told us that how he was very passionate from his childhood in becoming a musician. For me, I think I play two instruments as well. I play the keyboard as well as the harmonica. Okay. I was passionate from a childhood as well to learn those two instruments. I think young children, young athletes, sportsmen and women, young musicians from that youthful age, if they are passionate enough and they have a drive, and there's always somebody also to push them, I think they can actually become whatever or whoever they want to be.
Well, of course. So, Brass, tell us, how has the journey been for you?
Well, it hasn't been easy. Growing in part of this world, music is not really rated, especially if you're Nigerian, you understand this. And I'm growing up in an Adventist home, and a home like my dad's, who believes that you have to be in a corporate office, to be up there. So when I thought about doing music, and it wasn't really something that you bought into, and we in this part of the country, we see music as not being. I'm trying to get the right words to use, but like not being responsible. Yeah. So it was literally a struggle to try to convince my dad to believing that music was actually a passion and something that would actually get me up there. So it's after that phase, you will have to also battle with trying to be known, trying to be heard, struggling to show the world what you are really made of. So it's really a struggle from having that passion and then trying to convince people, trying to build the brand itself.
And then now, at the time when you had said, instead of becoming a footballer, but you played football at some point in your life.
Yes, I did.
So what made you to change? Because a lot of people said, maybe if I would have been a footballer, maybe you would have been earning money at your age now. The money that emanates from football cannot be compared to even music.
Yeah, at some point, I actually remember my childhood when we were trying to analyze how much these footballers were paid. And my friends and I, we had a team. Because the money was huge then.
Yeah.
Then we buy notebooks. We buy notebooks for school. We also want to buy those textbooks that had these football players on it. And so it was a lot. So at primary 3 or 4 then, while playing, I broke my leg, and that was the end of it. My dad stopped me from playing football, and that was how I gave up on my football dream and then started music.
Of course, everybody have their own stories, and today Mr. Brass is here to tell us his story, his musical story, how far he has come, and of course, one who started with a strong penchant for sports, becoming an instrumentalist, and that's the genre of music. And so that genre of music, how popular is it? Do you think is accepted in Nigeria as compared to in football? For example, in Nigeria, the culture is football more, miracle. So if you are not a footballer, a lot of people even get to know you more. Same with music. If you are not a vocalist, people don't get it. Takes a whole lot. The Cobhams of this world, they're always going to be behind the scene. Yeah. Do you think that is there anything you are doing to ensure that to change that narrative?
Yeah, sure, and that's why we came up with For the Love of Music, For the Love of Music. Now, why our brand is quite exceptional from every other brand is that we do instrumental music, we do vocal. It's a pack of like a full pack of music. So we don't just do vocal, we do instrumental music. And just like you said earlier, instrumentalists are always behind the scene. Most of the times you don't even know who is playing.
True.
The vocalist is always at the limelight, and so we thought of ways to also improve on that, bringing instrumentalists and young talents to come up on stage, show the world what they have, the potentials. And that's the idea of For the Love of Music concert.
They are there for the love of music and miracle. I think that also gets to say, because I've thought about it. It took exceptional display from the likes of Toby Emotion, the likes of the big names you can talk about in other sports. Yeah. Defining moment for them to be known. And I'm not thinking why it's so. But the footballers, I mean, the moment you get to the national team, you are already a superstar. You are respected.
Yeah, yes. For me, I think there's a publicity that comes with playing football. I think football just has an edge over other sports because of the high or huge amount of, will I say, fan base that comes with the sport. I think when you're representing your country, it comes with a huge and wide amount of fan base, especially in a huge stage like maybe the UEFA Champions League or playing in a huge stage like the FIFA World Cup. We know what comes with it. Every man or every sportsman always wants to represent his or her country playing at the World Cup, because you know the kind of publicity and the kind of glory that comes with playing and representing your badge of your country in the World Cup. So I feel like football as a whole just has a huge, will I say, publicity over other sports. The NBA has publicity, but mostly in the United States of America. When you go down there to the United States of America, you know that the NBA is the #1 sport, or second to the NFL and the NHL. They also use sports over there in the United States of America. But down here in Africa, football is the #1 sport. In Asia as well, we know that the crickets of this world are widely known more than football over there in Asia. Yeah. So I think each zone have each and every sport that
is unique to them. Like Indian is cricket.
Yeah.
And South Africa is
rugby.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Yes, known for
it. Have a widely known sports that they actually associate more with. So for me, in this part of the world, I think football and music also is a very huge role for us down here in the part of the country.
Mr. Braz, let's come back to you. So when you look at the journey thus far, and what you've been able to build with for the love of music, brand, will you say it's still about passion or the fact that you want to make ends meet at this point? Because every footballer want to play to make money. That's why they get injured, they are not happy. So yours, what will be the defining moment? What will you say, okay, this is what we're looking at for now? At this stage of your career, what will you say is that driving force, passion or money?
Okay, there's one thing I always tell entrepreneurs and young persons who are trying to develop a skill. Now, first thing, you don't need to focus on money when you're trying to build. There's times and seasons, even the Bible says it. There are times and seasons, and there are planting times, there are sowing times, and there are harvest time. So at this point in stage, I think I'm on the sowing stage, and I'm not really focused on the money. We want to build that name, want to build that brand, you get. And definitely, once you have a sellable product, you will definitely make money out of it. So I think focusing on your product, focusing on what you have building on, and then making it big, you won't really need to struggle to get money. It will just find its way to you.
Of course, you won't struggle to get money. You just get it down to you, and that's what Mr. Braz is saying there. And of course, how did you come up with that name, Mr. Braz?
Okay, well, Mr. Braz came about my dexterity in music. I play all brass instruments, ranging from the trumpet, trombone, euphonium, tuba, sax, and anything you can think of. So at some point, I remember in an event, I played all 3 instruments. So a friend just, well, you play all brass instrument. Wow, you're Mr. Braz. And that was how the name came about. I thought about it. I said, yes.
Actually, it's good for the yes, okay. And of course, it's good to know that you hail from Port Harcourt, and to know that Port Harcourt is an entertainment hub. You talk about the state in Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. You begin to think that just maybe you can, break. And so how's it been, coping with, like in football, if you're a good footballer, you can always soar high in Port Harcourt because teams will come out, Rivers United will be in for you. But how's it been for you in the entertainment industry, trying to brave up and also looking at the genres of music that you are into? How's it been competing in this market?
Well, it hasn't been easy, and then I always say this, Port Harcourt is kind of, it's like an entertainment hub, like you said. It's an entertainment hub. We have a lot of talents in Port Harcourt, but I think the challenge we have here is lack of collaboration and oneness in the industry. Port Harcourt, unlike Lagos, where you see top industry that is coming down so low to, collaborate with young entrepreneurs and young artists that are coming up. Unlike Lagos, Port Harcourt, we are really struggling with that. And I think if we're able to sort that out, it will reduce the stress and then the struggles for the younger persons that are growing up with younger talent. So it has been a struggle though, but by God's grace, we're
All right, let's go back to the FIF Pro Men's 11 has been unveiled, and of course it features a star-studded lineup of football's finest talent across the globe. Now the team was selected by players worldwide. 28,000 players from 70 countries selected this first 11. And we'll start with Brazilian goalkeeper Edison Moraes, anchored the defense. Joining him in the background are Dani Carvajal of Real Madrid, Spain, Anthony Rudiger of Real Madrid, Germany, Virgil van Dijk of Liverpool, Netherlands, a trio recognized for their consistency and leadership in crucial matches. In the midfield, we have the lineup. First off is on the 3-5-3 formation, and the powerhouse of the midfield, you have creativity and control. The likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, Toni Kroos, Jude Bellingham of England, and Real Madrid formed a formidable quartet. De Bruyne and Rodri were instrumental in Manchester City's title last season, while Kroos and Bellingham shone brightly for Real Madrid in domestic and European competitions. Up front, we have the attack brims with electrifying talent like Kylian Mbappe of France and Real Madrid, Erling Braut Haaland of Manchester City and Norway, and Vinicius Junior of Brazil and Real Madrid. They headline the forward. Miracle, let me come back to you. This is a first 11 voted by FIF Pro, comprising of 28,000 footballers from 70 countries. You think this is justifiable?
For me, I think most of it is justifiable, but I have some questionable calls right there. And that's FIF Pro first 11. There are some certain players, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Edison Moraes, that I actually question their nomination to make it to that particular one, because I feel like Edison Moraes, yes, he won the Premier League with the Manchester City side. He also reached the quarterfinal stages in the Champions League. But was he that influential for the City side throughout the course of the season? For me, I wouldn't say so. I think they were more influential goalkeepers for their team. The likes of Emiliano Martinez of Aston Villa and Argentina, the likes of Pierre Lunin of Real Madrid, as well as the Ukraine national team as well, that actually led Madrid to the Champions League final and led them to winning the La Liga title as well. So I feel like those two goalkeepers, for me, I think they were actually my front runners to that one. But seeing Edison Moraes there, I have a lot of questions to ask on how he made it to that top level. And the likes of De Bruyne as well. I think Kevin De Bruyne was injured throughout the course of the season.
Yeah.
Most of the season he was injured. He only came back in January, and he actually did well for himself as well as winning the Premier League with Manchester City. But if you look at his international performances with his national team, the Belgian national team, I think he was not so good and influential for his team. I think they even got knocked out from the Euros in the group stages, and he was not as influential as he was in Manchester City as he was for his national team. So for me, I think it's a not questionable call. The likes of Florian Wirtz, that was very good for the Bayer Leverkusen side, played in two major cup finals, the DFB Pokal Cup as well as the Europa League, winning the DFB Pokal Cup as well, the Bundesliga as well, and doing well for the Germany team in the Euros. So I feel like players like that, players like Lamine Yamal also was actually good, and I feel he should have been given a shout out. The likes of Cole Palmer as well was good individually, but we actually know that Chelsea struggled throughout the course of the season. But the likes of Cole Palmer stood out for me. Lamine Yamal as well, he stood out, performing well in the Euros.
Arguably, one would think that these selected players all won a trophy. So yeah, if you are not, if you never won a trophy, it's difficult to be selected. And I'm just thinking how 28,000 persons that voted could be wrong at this point, because if this is a combination of their voting, then it's difficult to really argue that they could be wrong.
Yes, it's another angle to look at it. Just the fact that a lot of club players, a lot of club officials as well were the ones that voted. And it was not just FIF Pro that came out and gave us this certain 11, but it was actually done by votes. And popularity in this kind of voting scheme, popularity actually matters a lot. If you're not popular enough, I don't think you stand an edge over those that are popular. I feel like the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, as well as Ederson, are more popular than the players I just called, Florian Wirtz and Martinez. So actually, popularity actually matters a lot in this kind of voting.
Okay, brass. I don't know. You play all brass instruments, but I don't know how many footballers or how many clubs you support. You know, first of all, do you have any club you support?
Yeah, Manchester United.
They are nowhere to be found right now. They are nowhere to be found. But tell us, like we just talked about this now. Where are you now? I mean, for the Love of Music program coming up, what is the stage? What are we doing? What are you doing differently from other years? How far have you gone with the brand and the music? And what's the plan for Sunday's showcase in Port Harcourt?
All right, it's going to be an amazing moment in the city of Port Harcourt. Trust me, it's going to be the best musical event you can ever think of. We are bringing in music, comedy, and poetry on one stage. So it's a pack. It's a full pack. It's a full package. We're bringing in international artists like KDC, Wonder the Talk, a lot more, Busy Mouth, and the whole lot. So just come out and enjoy music at its best on the 15th of December.
Muraco, I'm sure you are going to be there live to see things for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to this event. I think as a music enthusiast as well, I think I'll be going there with my hopes high to see beautiful performances from Mr. Brass as well as his colleagues. And
then one would have expected that this Eurotide will feature a lot of grassroots talent. Like Mr. Brass is talking about a concert for the love of music. But everyone should see some football talent, you know, like in Port Harcourt. But we're not seeing that as compared to the back days.
Yes, for me, I wouldn't want to, let's say, make it a major issue because we still have a lot to do when it comes to and this football talents coming back down here to actually go for such events. So I think I wouldn't want to make it an issue, but there's still a lot to come, and I think the future still is still bright for us in this particular one to achieve more.
So, in terms of acceptability, since from the time you started your music career, do you think that the Port Harcourt fans have a strong acceptance to your brand?
Yes, it does. I mean, first edition we had over 4,000 persons in the audience, and then second edition was massive. And then we hope that this edition will be better and bigger, just like we promised.
Better and bigger, and of course, you heard from Mr. Brass there. But let's talk about the UEFA Champions League. And Carlo Ancelotti has hinted yesterday that Vinicius Junior could make his Real Madrid comeback for his team's key Champions League clash at Red Hot Atlanta. This is going to be a very defining moment, not just for Real Madrid, but also for our man Ademola Lookman.
Yeah, definitely. From the Real Madrid angle, I think they need to do all it takes to win this particular one because they know that they are down the pedal in the UEFA Champions League standings. If they happen to lose this particular one, I think their qualification hopes will actually be hampered right there. And therefore, at the moment, I think a lot of Nigerians and a lot of Africans will be actually watching this particular game because of the informed man over there in Atlanta. Ademola Lookman, I think he's been quite fantastic for the Atlanta team this season and even last season. And let's not forget that he's nominated for the African Player of the Year. And I think he's been quite doing well for himself. And I think it will be a huge worry for the Real Madrid team this particular match, because you know the likes of Real Madrid are actually struggling with injuries, especially in their back line. The big boost that Vinicius Junior will be returning. I think Real Madrid need to do all it takes to win this particular one.
Dinamo Zagreb will play against Celtic, Girona versus Liverpool, Leverkusen versus Inter Milan, Brest will take on PSV, Sporting will travel to Club Brugge, Aston Villa versus RB Leipzig, that will be played away from home for them, and then Salzburg will take on PSG, Shakhtar Donetsk versus Bayern. Miracle, which will you be looking at? It looks like the game between Leverkusen seems to be one of the big ones tonight.
Yes, definitely. The Xabi Alonso-led team, I think they've been quite good in the UEFA Champions League this season. Inter Milan is another big team in the UEFA Champions League. They've not lost a game so far this season in the UEFA Champions League. They've been quite good as well. So that game will be a cracker right there in Leverkusen. I think Xabi Alonso will be doing all it takes to actually grind out the results in that particular one. The Milan team also will be looking forward to going down there to Germany and picking up at least a point. I feel like that game will be a very, very contested game from the both teams.
So we also look at the fact that a lot of teams will be in action. Liverpool want to continue with what Arne Slot is doing, and for Aston Villa, on Emery traveling away from home, one will be wondering if you can pick a maximum point for them. They've been very fantastic in the UEFA Champions League, so maybe that could also be a pointer in today's encounter.
Yes, definitely. For me, I think Aston Villa, they will have an edge over RB Leipzig in this one, because RB Leipzig, they've been very, very disappointing in this particular Champions League season. I think they've not actually even won a particular game, no single game, I think, and no single point so far in the Champions League after 5 games. I think RB Leipzig will be I think the doors of exiting the UEFA Champions League is actually open for them right about now. I think Aston Villa, if they can go down there to Germany and get a point, I think it's a good one. If they can still get all 3 points, I think it will be a fantastic one for Unai Emery and his boys.
All right, and of course, we'll keep our eyes on all the games in the UEFA Champions League this evening. But before we leave, Mr. Braz, let's come back to you. I don't know which of these games you'll be watching tonight. I know what is in your mind right now is to think about how the show will be on Saturday. But like you said, have you dotted the I's and crossed the T's?
Sure, we have.
So
we have.
It looks like everything is in for
everything. Yeah,
for
everything
Sunday.
set. Yeah.
And then one more thing, a lot of person want to look. What could be your thought for young talents that are coming up? You know,
Okay.
looking at how far you have come and the fact that you are where you are today. What would be your advice for young talents that are coming up, whether in sports, in any area or spheres of life?
Okay, well, there's one thing to have a passion for something. There's one thing to have a skill or what you're working on. Then another thing is to be consistent in it. You know, we find out that a lot of persons these days don't really want to go through the process of developing their talent. You know, but they want to just be known and heard, and it doesn't work that way. It's a process, and you have to be consistent in it. You have to develop and build to the extent that people would come to your light. And that is why I always advise younger persons: don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush. There are sowing times and there are harvest times. Do well to develop your talent, your skill, and people will come to your life.
Of course, people definitely will come to your life, and so we're all out on Sunday, 15th of December for the Love of Music 3.0, and Mr. Brass will be live in that concert, giving us all the latest from poetry, music, comedy. I mean, it promises to be a bumper. So you don't want to miss that. I won't miss that. I mean, we will not miss that. Atlantic Television, we are there, and of course, trust us, we're going to electrify the environment. Many thanks to you, Miracle, for being part of the conversation today.
Yeah, thank you, Temple.
And then, Mr. Brass, always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Ekpo Temple is my name, and tonight is UEFA Champions League. Don't miss that for anything, not even your dinner. Make our time to get to watch some of the game, and on Sunday, don't miss out from Mr. Brass live in concert for the Love of Music. I say, have a lovely evening, but I will not forget to thank the MCRO for putting this up and ensuring that we'll have a wonderful broadcast on today's edition of Sports Extraordinary. We leave, but our Sports Extraordinary goes to Aina Sabalenka for winning the WTA female best tennis star of the year. What a majestic feat for her. The first time she's getting to win this particular one. It doesn't come easy, but like Brad said, consistency pays off someday, and Aina Sabalenka will be very happy that her consistent result, getting trophies in some of the events, have aided her to get to win this particular award that has eluded her. Until we come again tomorrow, have a wonderful time on Atlantic Television Network. Bye-bye.